Folks, how's it going? We're going to talk about stress-free living, the health, homeownership, and holistic healing. So I have my special guest today. I'm going to let him introduce himself and what he does for a living, and then he's going to get into, we're going to ask him some questions. Special guest, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Scott Gralla. I'm a licensed acupuncturist. I practice in Green Lawn, New York. I specialize in treating musculoskeletal disorders. That's my favorite thing to treat, but also stress management.
Well, I guess our first question, as the real estate agent, I'm going to ask you questions. These are predominantly for people going through the real estate situation, either buying, selling, or to be open basically to anybody, whoever's out there basically that might run into these situations. What's the biggest source of stress for homeowners today? And how can they manage it a little better? So it doesn't have to be just homeowners; it could be anybody. What's a way to release the stress?
Well, I think one of the main stresses is probably these days is probably finance.
Yes.
Um, yeah. So some of the things that I advise people to do is, well, the biggest thing that you can do is create a budget for yourself. So we all have mortgages, we all have home expenses that utilities and repairs and things like that. And all these things can become very stressful. So, so first of all, budgeting is probably. So I'm also a certified nutrition coach, and one of the things that I preach to people is prep, meal prep, prep snacks, prep things that you can take them on the go. So same thing can apply to your finances. So you can prepare for, you have certain money that you allocate towards your mortgage. You have certain money that you allocate towards your utilities, your food, your transportation, those types of living expenses. And then you can allocate other money to things like vacation. So when you have a lot of stress, you know that you have a set time and a set amount of money that you can spend toward vacation. Doing other kinds of self-care practices, having a budget for self-care, like acupuncture, for instance, or massage therapy, or things like that. You want to try to avoid impulse buying because impulse buying feels good in the moment, but then you realize, oh no, why did I spend this money on this thing? I don't have it. But
Do I
this,
need it?
yeah,
Do I need it?
right, yeah. Is it a want versus a need? So this way, you have already money set aside for the future, and you know that that money is going to be allocated towards certain things, and it kind of relieves some of that burden of where's the money coming for other expenses, my necessities, basically.
One thing I want to add to what you're saying, everything you're saying is completely true for whether you're buying a home or you're selling a home or whatever your process is or basically where you are in your life at the moment. I think another thing people, depending on what the situation is, whether it's family, if you're a couple, you have to have open and honest dialogue between amongst yourselves. Because a lot of times, basically, financial situations kind of reveal all kinds of things, but you need to have those conversations. If you don't have those conversations, you're hiding things from your partner, whether it's your business partner or your life partner or whatever the case is. Have those conversations. And then when you hire a professional to help you, you have to be open and honest with them as well. So you can't be open and honest with your professional and not your spouse or your business partner. It's all hand in hand. And you also mentioned the health. Everything basically is connected. So when you're healthy, you have better judgment based on things that you're putting yourself involved and whatnot. And there's certain situations you're not gonna put yourself involved if you're eating right and all that stuff, and then everything else is connected. So my next question for you is, how can an acupuncture support someone dealing with chronic home or lifestyle stress?
So acupuncture can be a mindfulness practice. So stress can cause a lot of different ailments. So it affects the body in certain ways. It creates muscle tension. You can get migraines. You might have insomnia. It might create digestive disturbances. Stress can also decrease your immune function and exacerbate chronic illnesses like hypertension. And acupuncture can help with all of these things. So in acupuncture, we don't really treat the thing per se, we treat the person. So a lot of times these ailments can be all part of one pattern, and a lot of times they all come from stress. We have a TCM diagnosis called liver qi stagnation. So your liver is responsible for the free flowing of qi throughout your body. And when the liver gets disrupted through certain emotions like anger, stress, and frustration, that energy stops to flow. So we can use acupuncture needles, either needles, if you're afraid of needles, we can use acupressure practices like Tuina to kind of open up the meridians, get that energy flowing again, and help to reduce stress. And what that does is it regulates the sympathetic nervous system. So that's your fight or flight nervous system, which is constant these days with our on the go lifestyle. constantly moving. We don't give ourselves enough downtime. And then it can also boost the parasympathetic. That's our rest and digest part of our nervous system that's
Then,
responsible for healing and calmness.
all right. So my next question, I'm reading this because we're getting questions from past clients who saw our last videos. And thank you again for doing those videos, by the way.
Thank you.
Uh, Somebody asked basically, why is it important to view wellness as part of your lifestyle and not just as a treatment?
So again, like I said, we have this on the go lifestyle, and we don't give ourselves enough time to engage the parasympathetic nervous system. So incorporating some mindfulness techniques into our lives is hugely important. Even if you can start with 5 minutes a day of just sitting in quiet and breathing. It doesn't have to be in the morning. Ideally, it should be in the morning to prep yourself for the rest of the day. But really, all you need is 5 minutes as a gateway to get started. And then once you experience the benefits, you can start to sit for a little bit longer. You can do stretching exercises in the morning. Any kind of mindfulness that just kind of puts you in silence and gets you prepared for the day, lets you have a little bit of self-awareness. Mindfulness is such an important practice in all the aspects of our lives. Every time we're doing any kind of activity, we should be practicing some sort of mindfulness, staying in the moment, not worrying about. So what's happened in the past has happened in the past. There's nothing that we can change about it. And anything in the future hasn't happened yet. So we need to live in the moment, and we can choose to be happy in this moment, or we can choose to be stressed in this moment. We have a very short period of time on this earth. Why not choose to be happy?
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying meditate, 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 be in
And,
the
and it
presence.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be limited to meditation. There are other practices. You can get acupuncture. You can practice tai chi, qigong, yoga, meditation, just breathing exercises. Again, stretching, anything to calm the mind.
And most of the stuff, or some of the stuff you mentioned right there, basically, a lot of them you can do sitting down, standing up, in your car, in your
Yeah.
office.
So there might be a little bit too much distraction in the car, but being that you have this home, your environment and your home is your sanctuary. So I would advise somebody to you can either dedicate a room or even just a corner of the room for meditation, for just quiet practice, maybe even journaling, just some place where you can get out some of these excess emotions, that excess mind chatter that leads to so much sympathetic and stressful engagement.
It's interesting you mentioned that because basically with the weather getting much better, well, the time of the recording, we're in New York, so the weather's kind of iffy right now, but we're in spring at the time of this recording, so the weather's going to be better soon. A lot of people like to be 10 toes deep with nature, so they'll take their shoes off, they'll put their feet in the grass, and they'll take that time to center themselves, basically just to, all right, you know what, I'm starting my day, I'm ending my day, or either they're going to work or they're going back home before they go into the house. They take that time to, like you said, center themselves, just have a mental, trying to choose my words wisely, they're having a mental workout or warm up. They're warming up basically before they go do the next thing or do the next situation, whatever it is,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
family time.
It's a practice called grounding, and it helps us reconnect with the earth, with the planet, and it's a very very calming, relaxing experience.
It is definitely noted, and needed for today at the time of this recording with everything that's going on right now. So a lot of people basically they're taking their time, like you know what, just turn the TV off. Like Kendrick said, turn the TV off, turn the computer, turn everything off. Basically, just center yourself.
Yeah,
Maybe practice this with your family members, some family members, the kids, the wife, husband, whatever your situation is. Practice that with them. So my next question is, can you share a success story of someone who used a holistic healing to improve both their mindset and their lifestyle?
sure. I mean, I have a patient now who she has she initially came to me with shoulder pain and neck pain, and that's a very common ailment. People have what they call tech neck, because they're always in this hunched over position, either on their computer typing or on their phone texting or looking at social media. So this person's job also required a lot of manual labor with her arm, her shoulder. But also part of that, what exacerbated it was that she didn't handle stress very well. So being able to sort of digest things that life throws at you is a big part of being mindful and, you know, counteracting that sympathetic stress response. And it would manifest as tightness in her shoulders and her neck. And, whenever she would get stressed out, this would be her go-to move. And your muscles have memory. They remember all this tension, and this can create trigger points and knots or adhesions. So getting her to use acupuncture to not only retrain the musculoskeletal system to be in its relaxed state, but also retrain her brain, where she can have this time, even you sit with the needles maybe for 10, 15, 20 minutes and just have that time to reflect and be self-aware and just sit and breathe and be in a quiet environment that's relaxing and helps you to basically declutter all that chatter in your mind so that you can take on these stressful experiences without having it promote illness within the body. And
All right, well, I'm glad you said all that stuff. So I just want to remind everybody who's watching this video. So there's a couple of key factors that we need to factor in. Is basically meditate or just take that time out mentally so you can just reground yourself basically to where you're at. The other thing I'm going to suggest is exercise more. Take that time, go enjoy nature, walk, run, play with the kids, play with the dog. Maybe not the cat, but go do things. Go
a simple
be
walk
more.
in the wonders.
Yeah, and then my third thing is pretty much reach out to Scott, book an appointment, and then see what he can do for you. You never know. Just having a conversation with Scott might open your eyes and ears basically to things like, oh wow, you know what? I am going through that. I never even thought about it. So Scott, how can they reach you if they need to hear from you? How are they gonna reach you?
Yeah, so you can go to my website. It's scottgralla.com, SCOTTGRALLA.com. So that would have my you can make an appointment through my website. You can also email me at info@scottgralla.com. Again, that's SCOTTGRALLA. My phone number is 631-606-2195. I get so many robocalls during the day that it's probably faster to text me at that number than to call. But yeah, those are 3 ways that you can easily reach me for any questions you might have about acupuncture, or if you would like to book an appointment, or I offer a complimentary 15-minute consultation to see if acupuncture is right for you.
All right, so this is specifically for my homeowners out there. You have a house you're thinking about selling. One suggestion I say is reach out to Scott, get your acupuncture, figure out what you need to do with him, and then you call me to put that house on the market. My number, you can reach me at 917-975-5985. Again, that number is 917-975-5985. Our website is mynYhomesales.com. You can find me on most social media as Evantz, that's Evantz, sells homes. As your realtor, I want to make sure that you're taken care of financially when it comes to selling your home, if you're relocating, getting you any information that's going to help make your life better, whether it's regarding your house or your mental, physical, spiritual. That's why we have Scott here basically to help tie everything all together. So feel free, use our expertise, his knowledge, his energy to help you get to the place that you need to be in. And I'll help you physically get to that place that you need to be in. Like how I tied everything together.
Very good.
Anyway, with that being said, Scott, you got the floor. What's your words of encouragement for people right now? They should are watching this. Just something you want to end in a positive note.
Yeah, just make sure you create that time for yourself. We're constantly running around doing things for other people. Remember that you're your most important asset. And time is your most important asset. So make that time to get into that parasympathetic meditative state on a daily basis.